Hello everybody, this is Josh X Play Place, and today we continue to grow, expand and improve our city of New Paris in Cities Skylines 2 in this episode number 11. And the Keys and Piers patch is already out, so let's explore it. Enjoy. Although everything seems to start running a little bit better with the little fixes that we did, at least in this street, traffic and transit, public transportation is something that you're always going to be looking at when it comes to your city. So, that's something that either you love or you don't. And if you don't, then you're playing, I think, the wrong game. And so in here, there's traffic. Again, things need to get moving along. There's a new patch. And so things are going to be a little bit messy until they're not. Oh wow, there's a lot of traffic in here. So we have a lot of traffic coming from our external highway, as you can see in here, which is very good because again, you have new routes for your citizens to move through and everything seems to be fine. Let's take a look at what's making this a little bit more slow. And I think overall it's just new traffic. I think there's a lot of people moving into this area. If you recall, we zoned all of this. All of this has to be, or it should be zoned, and it is. And so once there's demand, there's gonna be buildings being built in here. So they're gonna start popping up there, which means that we're gonna have a lot of new people that want to move into this area, which I think it's pretty cool. And again, we will change maybe a couple of things. Maybe we're gonna have to make this Hamilton Street into an avenue. I don't think we're gonna disrupt any of these buildings. We'll figure out, because I think we're gonna have to have an avenue coming this way so that we can have another exit into the highway, even though the highway is a long ways to go. But today is the day that we experience the Keys and Piers patch expansion, if you will. And so we're gonna try to work with that. So there's a lot of traffic in here. Everything's fine. We should be fine. And I think the best area to explore our Keys and Piers is gonna be this area that we have in here that we're living for whenever we're actually able to create parks or park areas, but we still have access into this place. So I think the best thing that we can do right now is to start creating our little park area in here with a pier. So let's go into the landscape menu, the landscaping. We're gonna go into pathways, and now we can see that we have 3 new options, which are for the piers, and 2 more that are for the keys. So we have the narrow leisure pier, we have the medium, and we have the wide. And let's try to place them all in here so that we can try to figure out which one we want. So the first one, there's a little bit of incline, so let's try to make it a little bit better, a little bit higher, and I think this is fine. Okay, so now we're gonna do the medium one, and it is a whole lot bigger. I think we also need to increase the incline, maybe a little bit less. Sure. Again, these inclines and trying to make this even to 0, I think it should be an actual thing, but it is not. And last but not least, we're doing the white wooden leisure pier. So we're gonna start here, and once again we are gonna finish it in this area. And I do think they look really nice. The designs are really nice. Maybe not underneath them. Maybe I haven't seen a lot of piers, but overall, at least the top looks rather nice, and there's no space for a lot of people to be able to just come and, you know, take a look at the river, fish, whatever they want to do. I think that should be fine. And I think that for this little area that we have in here, we're gonna have the white here. But let's try to start it from here. Right, I think that's gonna work a little bit better. And yeah, there's no space in there. So we're gonna do, let's do 149. And can we go a little bit higher? There you go. 153 is fine. And let's do a little bit of a T, which is what usually we have in some piers, or at least the one that I just visited, which is in Corpus Christi. And I visited on my way back from Houston because, and usually I don't go through Corpus Christi, but I wanted to see a new bridge that they've been building for I don't know how long. Was it 52? Unfortunately, when I drove through Corpus Christi, the bridge wasn't open. But I did go into a pier. I don't think this looks nice. Let's try to see if the medium one looks a little bit better. Yeah, that looks a whole lot better. I don't think the big one will make a much difference, but I think this looks rather nice. Right? So this is a pier where I would definitely want to go and visit if I was just taking a break, or like today on a Saturday, you can go and go to the park, go to the river, maybe fish. And let's put this little pocket park here, because this one has some vending places, right? So that one's free stack. So that way we can have, you know, we can have some ice cream and just go in here. So I think that's gonna work really nice. I don't think we have parking. Let's see, we can put a little bit of parking. So let's extend this little road just a little bit, and let's see which options we have. So we have this small gravel parking lot, and we have this medium gravel parking lot, and I think that's gonna be great. And maybe we can add a couple more rocks, because we actually, you know, had to delete some, and I think that's fine. Again, we don't have as many options as we did in City Skylines 1, which is, you know, something that I wish we had. And let's not charge any parking, right? So you actually are able to go into this ring park, into the old cemetery ruins. I wish we can go into these ruins, but you know what? Let's do it right now, really quick, because I think it's very important that we're able to access this. There you go. and to this old mill. So let's also do a little road. I really wish that it would make a difference, right? It's really not something that uh, it's gonna affect gameplay, right? People are not just gonna come in here like they did when it was the like the parks with the parks DLC, unfortunately. But either way, I think this looks rather nice. Very, very nice. Again, there's some piers that are made of concrete, but at least for now, this is great. Now, let's try to do another one in this area, right? Let's do it right here, and the reason why is because I want to try to see, we're gonna do the medium one, how much more different it looks if you start it on an area that's not as elevated, right? To see how good it looks. See, that actually looks rather nice. And it's more in line to what we're used to, right? Because the pier starts very low or closer to what I'm gonna call sea level in here. And unfortunately in here we started from a much higher place, which again, it shouldn't make a difference. And we're actually just gonna leave this in here. So I'm gonna add 48 and 48, and maybe have this be the small one. There you go. Good enough. Thanks, alright. Yeah. Okay. So as you can see, this look really, really nice. And yes, of course, you can do curves. So let's do one more. So let's start in here. Let's do 100 yards. Again, it's looking rather nice. And let's do a half circle in here. And connect it here. I don't think I've seen many piers like this. Oh. So let's at least, let's do this instead. There you go. Again, I don't think I've seen many piers like this. Maybe you have, but not me. Again, it's just very, very cool. And of course, yes, you can continue it. So let's continue this a little bit more if it lets me. There you go. Again, as always, things get a little bit finicky. There you go. Of course, in theory, you can say that there's some boats that are gonna get here and this and that. But sure, we'll just leave them there. They're not creating any issues. And you can see that we have a narrow quay with pedestrian path. And the difference is that one has smooth concrete and the other one has a shallow rip pattern. But if we go into roads and we go into small roads, scroll all the way down, we have a medium quay with two-way road. And if we go into medium roads, which again they should call them avenues, we have a wide quay with 4-lane road. So, oh, we have an issue here, so let's pause the game really quick. Of course, we need electricity. I was under the impression that we didn't have any issues there, but let's have a transformer station here. And that should help us a lot, so let's do that really quick. I do like doing this with this game. I think that of course it makes sense, right? That we need to have these type of power lines, the high voltage power lines. And I do like the fact that we can do a little bit more of underground, right? And we're gonna add another one in here. It's because I think we're gonna need it. There you go. Let's try to... And that's working really great. Let's try to look into this. Yeah, it's getting a lot of power, but we should be fine. 20% usage, and this one 4%, that's fine. And we didn't check into our electricity and water, which we're fine. And same thing with our garbage. Again, garbage will affect the gameplay a lot, so make sure that you are doing well in that regard. And so we have our pier, our really nice pier, and I don't want to do any keys in here. Where I want to do them is in this area. So the first thing that we are gonna do, that we just talked about right now, is to create underground power lines. And I think this main road is gonna be perfect. And we're gonna start from here all the way here, and again, I'm trying to go through these through the roads a little bit more, because apparently it's a little bit more realistic. So that's how we're gonna do it. And so what do we... Oh, we need to actually connect this here, which we did, and connect this one here. There's something going on. Okay, that's fine for now. I think what we can do, so let's do this. We want to make sure to have everything connected. Sometimes, you know, it will be a big deal. It's not connected. So I think we're fine. And I do think we actually need to have a line running this way. But for now, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do a regular one. So let's place this here. Because again, I think we're gonna have to... We're gonna have to make this street into an avenue. So yeah, everything's fine. We should have enough power. And so let's delete this horrible power line. Right, I know this one doesn't have electricity, but give us just a moment. Okay, so we're good with that. And let's do the underground power line. There you go. Everybody should be happy now. Right? Right? Okay. And so that's the first thing that we need to look at. Because, again, we need to make sure that there's enough power. So there's something going on here. It says power not line. Oh, okay. So let's delete this. Okay. And why did we do that? Well, because we want to be able to utilize this shoreline with the new key. And we are gonna use this one, the one with the shallow rip pattern. And there's this new option that says snap to shoreline, right? So let's try to use that somewhere else first in case we mess it up. So as you can see in here, this is snapping in this area. So let's try to do that. And right now it's gonna be a straight line, sure. And this looks rather nice, right? And now we do a little bit more terraforming, and let's make sure that it's a very small one. Well, that's not working the way that I want it to. But Sure. So I think that's gonna actually look great in here. Now, I don't remember if we were gonna do something with this road, but I think we should be able to curve it into here. And if we need a little bit more space or clearance, we can actually start the bridge from here, or the overpass starting here. Right, that's why we've left all of these empty. And yeah, I think that's gonna be fine. We did this little road because we needed to connect to the power plant, which should be working really great. And again, I think we're gonna need a little bit more power, so let's try to see what upgrades we can do. So the first one is a high voltage substation, which again we don't need at the moment. We can add an additional turbine, which will add from 0 to 100 megawatts. And we can also do the binary cycle power plant, which will add about 50 megawatts of production, of electricity production. Right now it's producing 152, which is great. So let's do the additional turbine. There you go. This added another little nodule for this, so let's connect it. Again, sometimes people don't understand that you need to connect this in order for the electricity to go out. If you don't add it, you might be producing a lot, but you might not be able to export a lot. And as you can see already, we're consuming 188, we're producing 297. That's a difference of about 109, which is exactly what we are exporting. Again, sometimes you're not able to export as much because you might be utilizing some other means of production, but we're fine. So I don't know why we allowed this to happen. So let's remove the sidewalks. There should be nobody parking here. Again, I think we're gonna have to redo this intersection because we will continue our road further into the mountain, especially because I think we have some good resources in here, at least in here, right? I think that should be fine, and definitely for expansion. Even though this is a valley, and if you can see in here, we have a lot of space that's not gonna be utilized ever, unless of course they do some sort of weird ice ski resort or something like that. But I think it's fine for now, right? So we're somewhat limited. I wish this map would have started a little bit, at least with this way to see it to the left, so that we could have had this area in here. But this is really nice bay, and we could have actually done a little bit more with having waterways, basically, which we can do, but we'll figure out again. But we'll be fine. So let's also try in here the one-way key, and we're gonna do it curve. Again, we're still doing snapping the shoreline, which I think is working great. Yeah, this is really nice. Let's see if we can upgrade this into... Yes, we can upgrade that into a pedestrian street, which is pretty cool. Kind of weird, the way that it behaves in here. Because if we try to do the soften the terrain, it will go down. So let's see if we can do... Yeah, it's gonna act a little bit weird, and we're gonna have to do this our own way, which is fine. Again, it's fine, no big deal, but at least it's working, at least for now. And also we're gonna do the wide key. So let's see that works, and that's working rather nicely too. Again, that's not something that I will utilize because I do feel like, especially with the cities that we're trying to do, I think that since we don't have a beach asset at the very least, maybe the keys will help with making that area a little bit more not profitability, but the land value be a little bit higher. Right now, for some reason, the shorelines are not anything high, which again it's so weird, but that's how it is. And so let's try to do again. We're gonna go back into I think the pathway is a little bit too small, and in the end I might want a tram to actually go all around this area. We might have to move these water pumps pump stations. So we have issues in here because of the substation. So let's add another little substation in here. Again, you have to look into it because, again, not having electricity will create a big issue with your city. Might actually make it very messy. There you go. Do we want to connect it this way? We're fine for now. No, you know what? Let's do it. Let's make this interconnected. There you go. Okay, let's go back to our key. Okay, so it's gonna get a little bit messy before it works well. So again, we're gonna use the medium key. So there's nothing else in here, right? That's the only one that we have. And so let's try to see. I think that's gonna work well. And this is gonna work well. And here. And let's see if we can get over or under this. We won't, but oh crap. So I don't know what this is. Let's do something really quick here. So I'm gonna just add a road that goes from here into here. Okay, so we can disconnect this bridge, which I think is the best thing to do right now. Again, we already have electricity going with the underwater the underground power lines, high voltage power lines. So again, let's continue this. Okay, so we're gonna continue here. Again, it's not gonna be perfect, but that's just perfectly fine. And this is where we're gonna end. Again, I really don't like the fact that this happens. So maybe, yeah, we're gonna have to do this with all of it, which again, I don't like, but we're trying to make this a little bit nicer, so I don't think in here it matters. There you go. And this one has to be a little bit higher. We'll soften it soon enough, right? Just again, look at this, and yeah, it's not working. Again, it's not perfect, so might as well just deal with it right now. There you go. I think that's fine for right now. But remember, we have to make it a pedestrian street. And again, I don't know why it's so messy. So we're gonna do this just to make sure nothing funny happens, because you know how this game can get when upgrading. And I think this is working rather well. Again, it's not perfect, it doesn't look great, because you know it's our first attempt. But remember, look at all the shoreline that we have. So I also think we can do something here next, but for now this is what's gonna work. Right? There you go. Again, I'm not gonna have a tram right now because we need to move this. I think we're gonna move it into this area. So you know what, let's do it right now. Why delay it? So let's do a little road in here. And let's connect this road into this other road. And yet, I'm more than sure it should be enough for now. So let's move this here. And this other one here. Are they both upgraded? No, so we're gonna upgrade this one. And let's delete this. And let's continue our road, which again, I don't know if it's gonna give us any issues. It feels nice to do this, right? And we're just gonna end it right here. And we just need to upgrade this. Yeah, that's not gonna work. So let's try to do it again. And let's go back to upgrading this way. And now let's continue it again. Sometimes it's these little finicky things that I really wish the game would be able to handle a little bit better. So now let's try it again. Let's try to upgrade this road. And I think this is gonna be good enough. Again, why is it difficult to do this? I don't know. You should be able, I think you should be able to choose which type of road you wanna go use, right? Let's start connecting them. This one here. I think we're missing another one, but we'll do it here. Of course, this one here. This one here. And last but not least, we can do this one here. And I think the reason for this is that we can start our tram line in this area. Why is there a lot of traffic? First of all, let's take off this crosswalk. That should help just a little bit. Anyways, maybe we can do this a little bit bigger. We can utilize the one that's a little bit bigger. Yeah, let's help them. You know, we're able to do it a little bit more bigger, or a little bit bigger, but. So I think what we can do is, I feel like all this area has to be filled with, at the very least, a mix commercial and residential zoning, right? And so let's try to actually continue this here, just to see how this would work. Yeah, so I think we're fine if there's an if this intersects, right? I don't think that should be an issue. So let's at least draw it for now. And I think this looks good enough. And we're gonna stop it there. And the reason why is because I don't want this road to be used for now, because we need to unlock at least these four tiles so that we can figure out what we're gonna do in there. But again, I don't want anybody parking here. or here. And we definitely don't want this to be anything. And for the sake of it, we do need to have this be a roundabout. Because again, we have a bus lane. And so I think that's gonna be an issue. And in here, first of all, let's make sure that we don't have anybody parking here. There you go. And I think we're missing just one more road in here. So we're gonna do this and then this, right? And I think that's gonna work great. And let's just finish this other road too. I think that's just fine. And all these people are already here. And maybe for this, I think if I'm not mistaken, let's try, yeah, there you go. This one have the low density waterfront housing, so I'm just gonna fill it up with this. Yeah, these two. So I think that's gonna work rather nice. I don't know if we should add another connection in here, and I think I'm gonna do it. So let's add a little bit of another connection in here. There you go. I think that should be just perfect. And we have demand for everything. And so again, this is a European type town. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use the French park, or the French pack, and we're gonna do mixed housing, at least for right now. So we're gonna do it here, in here, and we'll try to figure out how it looks, and also here, sure. And just to give it a little bit of texture and differences, we're gonna add the French, the German one. And so this is our first instance where there's no connection into the road. So we'll see how that works. Right? And this one is also giving us that issue. So let's let this run and we will be back. I think this is gonna develop rather nicely. So again, we have instances where, you know, there's no pedestrian access. I don't know. It's a little bit frustrating because that's the way it is, right? I mean, there's nothing we can do. But otherwise, I think it's fine. It's developing rather nicely. This German style is looking very, very nice. But while we continue with this, let's try to figure out a way to have a tram stop in here. So we already have a tram line running in here, which is very, it's used a lot. And right now there's a lot of people waiting for it, which is great. It's being used 11%, 156 people, that's fine. I wish it was a little bit more, but Unfortunately, it's not. Maybe we can do this a tram line or have a tram line here. And so let's try to figure out what we can do. So this is a thing. So let's try to see if we can move these power lines out of the way. Right, so let's pause the game really quick. Okay, so now we know that we need to connect these here. So that's gonna be still messy. So let's delete this and let's do underground power lines. And that's something that I like, the fact that you can join these together. Right, okay, that's gonna be good enough. And so now let's do a little road. Yeah, we can do the pedestrian access in here to here. And oh, okay, yeah, we can what can we do? What can we do? We can just do this, maybe. Let's not break our minds into trying to figure out something that doesn't need to be that extreme. So we can do this, right? And we'll add a tram line or a tram track. Let's go to the tram. Let's go here, and we can continue this, right? Yeah, from here all the way here, and we should be able to add a pedestrian path to here. That way, if people wanna transfer, they can do it without an issue. So let's try to start upgrading this. Which again, we shouldn't have any issues, right? Because there's nothing to have issues about. So that's interesting. And we're just gonna continue this. It's gonna be an interesting tram line, especially because I think that at least for now, it is okay to have a little bit more low density, and in here we'll continue the high density. So we're gonna be able to have a lot of high density near it. And in here we just need to continue this road. That way we can have our tram line work rather nice. That's gonna be great. Okay, I don't know why there's a lot of traffic right now. Again, all of this is populating, that's why. There you go. And there's issues with crime. Let's take a look at crime. I didn't think we had. I think we're fine. I think we're fine for now. But maybe we can add a regular police station in here. There you go. And a regular firehouse. Sometimes it's okay to put just the regular stuff, right? There's no need to overdo it. Okay. Is there anything else that needs to be taken care of? No. Again, a lot of traffic. It's fine. Again, traffic fixes itself if it's not an actual issue. So now let's try. There's an issue here. This is not connecting, so let's try this again. And let's delete this one, and let's try to do something like this to make sure that the I don't don't know why it's not letting us work it, so let's try it again. Is this gonna work better? There you go. So let's add one stop here. It should help us with this. I mean, we kind of could put it here, but yeah, that's not gonna work. And we can do one here, one here, here. I don't know why you have to destroy that, but sure, go for it. Another one here, here. Again, in most intersections, I think that's where it makes sense. And a last one, at least for now here. And so that way it works. So, well, first of all, I need to double check. We have 6, yeah, we have enough. And just for the sake of it, we're gonna add this, just in case we need more trams. And so let's connect all of these. And again, I recently, you know, I was able to visit Germany, and that cemented my love with trams. I think trams are short of amazing. They get the job done and they look beautiful. I just love them. Why is it doing this? There's no reason for it to go this way. Yeah, it gets messy. So I don't know why it's forcing us to go this way, right? Like, you don't need to go this way. Just for the sake of it, let me just put the stop in here. And yeah, that's it. And let's change the color. Again, we're not gonna deal with the game's finickiness. And we're not gonna go through that. Again, I don't know why it needs to go around, but it says that there's no vehicles. Of course there's vehicles, but you don't know that, right? So let's change. First of all, this 12 is way too many. That's why it was telling us we don't have enough vehicles. When we do, we have a red line, so we're gonna do this. We're gonna make it the blue line because it's by the river. We're gonna put it at 3. I think that's what we're doing this. Yeah, we're gonna do it at 3. Again, if you can see, I don't know why it has to go through this, but go for it, buddy. And look at how nice this looks. Honestly, I wish we would be able to put trees. It's sad that you cannot do it. I mean, for anything. In the pedestrians streets, it doesn't make any sense. But let's see if we can let this one, demolish it, and see if it's gonna grow again. So that's that. And while we wait for the tram to do its thing, I think we can allow us to build a medium pier. So let's try to do that. Might be overkill, right? But I think that's gonna work really well. And it's gonna be a small one. So let's do... we can do a little bit bigger. We can do... Let's do 60... Let's do 78. And let's do 35 and 35. Maybe it doesn't make any sense. Maybe it doesn't make any sense to do it like this. But at least we need to try, right? And let's do another one in here. I think this is also the perfect area to put it.
A driving advisory has been issued for the
So let's do
immediate area
again
due to poor road conditions.
medium wooden,
Please
and we're gonna
exercise
do.
caution if you must drive, and try to stay off the streets until
Let's
conditions
do.
improve.
We did 70, right? Yeah. So
This
we're
has
gonna
been
do
a local
70,
public service announcement.
and we're gonna do 35 and 35.
This is Deluxe Relax. We are back, and we're
Of
talking
course,
about something that might
if you recall Cities Skylines 1, we were able to place parks that were piers, and that helped a lot. But again,
Which one is more important?
a different situation.
Self-confidence?
And we're gonna add more just regular low density housing in here.
Good to know, Jim.
And we're also gonna continue in this area with the. Let's do the German one.
And if you can, plan your trip outside the ride.
And let them sort it out. And I'm gonna put a little medium, maybe a larger park. Does that fit? Doesn't fit. I think the Chirper Adventure Park would be fine. Definitely adventure. This is gonna be just great. So this is working rather nicely, right?
Thanks, Jim.
I think this is looking
We'll be back after.
very, very nice. We have some demand for commercial, but let's see first of all if this is the area. So let's put a little bit more commercial things in here, but we're gonna do these buildings, the signature buildings. I always forget their name. So we can do mixed residential, and we can have this cafe, the Paris. Of course, it makes sense. So we're gonna put it. Just gonna put it here by the avenue, right? And we have these shops which might work nice, but let's try to see what other commercial buildings we have. So we have the Mermaid's Tea Lounge, which is kind of weird. We have the Oasis Kitchen. We have a bookshop. We have a department corner building. That's the German one, and we have another one, row building. So let's see if we can do. Let's try to do that. Let's do the one in the corner, and then let's do the one, the row building. Are they supposed to match? Oh yeah, they match really nice. And if we can find something that's what, 3x4. Yeah, 3x4. This one doesn't. This one's not. It's too big. Too small. Oh, this one's perfect. Yeah, this is looking rather nice. Let's see if we can have a small park, and I think this also, yeah, let's put this urban pocket park. Oh, and what we can do, again, we don't do this that often, but we can do the sand surface. Let's see if we can make it work. Well, it's not the same. Yeah, I think we chose the wrong one. So let's try to do this one again. I'm starting to like this a little bit more. I still think that it's a little bit finicky, and it doesn't work as well as it should. But as you can see in here, so let's see, maybe we can move it. And yeah, this corner is not gonna, it's not gonna let us. There you go. Yeah, sure. Better than nothing, I guess. Sure. So let's do this here. here and here. It'll be worse, definitely. But let's see what else we can put in here. Park. We can do this way too big. It's way too big. And put a little gazebo in here. And a small fountain here. Again, if only this actually mattered. It doesn't. But hey, see? Looks rather nicely. Sure. And now we don't have any issues with this not connecting to the path. So before we finish this video, there's a couple of things that we need to look at. First of all is to see how this is doing. And it's not being used that much, but just wait and we'll have these be a little bit more utilized, but we're fine. We might be able to increase. No, we're fine. And there's two more things that I want to check. And the first is to see if these keys and piers increase the land value of the buildings near them. And number two, if it increases the likability for tourism, right? There's two different things that we're going to look at. And the first one is going to be the land value. Now, I don't know if this land value is sourced. Yeah, it's the land value is high in here because I think it has the commercial areas. I'm not mistaken, right? Yeah, definitely all of these are commercial areas, which again I don't know. Again, it's the land value source. Like that's the source of high land value. It's not helping either way, right? Yeah. So first of all, no. Piers and keys do not affect land value, right? So I would actually put this as a little bit green at the very least, because people do want to come in here and take a stroll and just enjoy the river. And I think that tourism won't look any much better. Yeah, it doesn't.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special news bulletin.
A severe hailstorm
Yeah.
is approaching. Damage to
It doesn't
crops and
help
property is
anywhere, right?
expected. We urge citizens to stay inside
Yeah,
until the
it
storm
doesn't.
has passed.
Let's try something more. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a pier that goes from here all the way to the other side. Make it smaller because I think that looks a little bit weird. There you go. So let's try to fast forward this. So they can work as actual bridges and people are using them. But again, they're using them as a bridge. Let's try to look into this to see if there's nobody in here. Maybe because there's not a lot of people, but let's take a look at this. Yeah, nobody's gonna... I think the issue is that these are treated just as pathways. Basically as little roads, as just pedestrian pathways, just as this one. It's a path, right? It's not a quote-unquote park or something that gives leisure, even though that's what they're aiming for. And even in this one that has a whole lot more... well, there's one person. So it actually works. Well, I guess I was wrong with the 10 minutes that we were working on it. There's actually 2 people in here. That's nice. And this person just left. And this person is happy, so... Okay, I guess I was wrong. But... this still doesn't increase the likability for tourism. The attractiveness. Like, there's... like, if you delete all of these... there's really nothing to indicate that the keys and the piers help. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe they just haven't updated it. Maybe, again, it's just a glitch and it should do it. But you know, it works as a path. That's great. And we saw that there were people there, 2 people in here. No, there's nobody. I just don't know if this is worth anything, right? Sure, now it's easier to put these roads in here, especially a pedestrian road, but we're having issues with garbage. We'll work on it on our next video.
We interrupt the
But
program to
I
bring this
honestly
message.
don't know if it helps.
Severe hailstorm is approaching.
Right, there's nothing
Cross
indicating that there's more people
expected.
coming
We
because of
urge
tourism.
citizens to stay
This
inside
guy
until the storm
is
passed.
just here, right? He's a local, and I don't think our charts indicate anything. Tourist, yeah, I don't think it would matter at all, right? Everything is the same. So I honestly don't know if this is good for anything or not. I really don't think that it's helping this that much. Again, you know, we don't have a beach asset, and you know, we cannot take advantage of the shorelines. This helps. The keys help a lot, right? They make shorelines more usable and a little bit better. But the piers, I truly don't think they're helping that much. I mean, we saw 2 people and now there's only 1, right? And it doesn't appear to increase the land value, which it should, right? Or at least the keys. And it doesn't appear to increase the attractiveness or likability for tourism, which the piers would do, and it doesn't do it, right? They don't do it. So I don't know if this is helpful at all, but at least we have something else that's helping us with our game. So the keys are great because we're able to have, if you don't want a road, or like in this case a pedestrian road, you can have just a regular path. I think this is better. It would be a lot better if we could actually put some green, some trees on it. Unfortunately, we can't. But they're a good addition if all you're looking for is aesthetics and connectivity, right? Aesthetics and connectivity, yeah, this is good. Again, I think we had way more types of keys in City Skylines 1, but that's hopefully something that maybe we can be given in the future, or as a part of a DLC or a new patch or pack or update or whatever you want to call it. In terms of the piers, again, they look really nice for aesthetics, and again, if you want to do a wooden bridge, this is gonna work great, definitely. But I really we're not seeing that 2 things are being done with the keys or the piers. They do not increase land value, or they do not help increase land value, and they do not help increase likability or attractiveness for tourism. And so that leaves you only with aesthetics and connectivity, which is great, right? Now we're able to do this a little bit better. It looks amazing, but I personally don't think that this is that useful. I am gonna call it a little bit useless because for what I wanted for, it's not doing it. And just before we finish for real this time, don't forget that we have a fish production detail here in the production tab. So I'm sure fishing is coming soon, hopefully. But honestly, it just, it's not enough for me. Like somebody just said in a video that I was watching, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. this should help us with tourism. Tourism sucks. Well, now we got to a huge city, and tourism sucks, right? This isn't helping. This is helping to create a nicer looking city. Yes, it does. As you can see it in here, it's just really, really nice, right? And we have the trams and we have this. And if we can do canals, we can do an Amsterdam type of city. You know, it will look just amazing. And I'm sure other people are doing it. But it's not as easy as it should be, right? This should be easier. It's not. The keys and the piers should help with land value and with tourism, and they're not. So for me, they're a little bit useless. But again, it adds something extra that the game is definitely missing. And so, in this disappointing point, I'm gonna thank you for watching and liking this video. Don't forget to leave your comments. Do you actually think that these keys and piers are useless? Again, at least for now. And as you can see, there's people going, right? But not as much as people actually go to piers. And so again, thank you for watching, liking, and subscribing to this channel. We will see each other on our next video. Take care.